Greetings, my name is Johan Meyer. I'm a social entrepreneur in Cape Town, South Africa. I'd like to introduce myself to you by means of a story that happened to me I think about 3 years ago. I'd met somebody in the neighborhood where I live and went to visit him at his house for the sake of proper introductions and just understanding his way of thinking and learning more about him. On the way back to the gate, his mother met us at the door of the house. And when she heard about the things that were important to me around spatial justice and reconciliation, restitution, she proceeded to tell me the story of what happened to her on the very day that she and her family were forcibly removed from an area that was declared a white area called Goodwood to an area designated for what was called colored people. And told a very sad story of not just the trauma of being removed, but of the reception on the other side of children abusing and bullying on the very first day, of physical attacks. The interesting thing was that when I heard the story and tried to process that, I turned to my friend, and she had never told him. He is close to 50, and his mother had never told him of the trauma she suffered when she was forcibly removed because of apartheid. So the one thing I realized is, unless we can engage with truthful storytelling across generations, but also across cultural and income gaps, what is really the chance of any kind of meaningful reconciliation happening? Research shows that we mix as South Africans at work and at shops, not at home or at play. We need to work to fix that. A term I've invented for that is we need to unfence ourselves and our neighborhoods, not just spatially so that we can live together, but also emotionally and socially. So I've been busy in the community around me for a number of years, establishing a social enterprise with a number of objectives. We at the moment upskill and employ youth who have not completed school by means of learnerships and learning opportunities within a functional business. Macassar Pottery behind me is where we started, and we are now incubating a tourism business as our first downstream opportunity to double our employment base. The thinking behind it is that whatever relationship building, whatever upskilling, whatever training happens needs to happen within the context of business. We need to help people we need to create spaces where we can build dignifying relationships, but those spaces need to have economic outcomes. And in a sense, that's where the thinking around the Story Bank project also comes from. If we can help youth listen to and tell the stories of their elders, stories of trauma, but also stories of the joys of living and processing. If we can cross that gap and do it in a way that transfers crucial skills to young people that will make it easier for them to access the job market. And I think we can do something beautiful. And that is the reason of wanting to embed the process in schools, so that stories can be shared across generations, but also that we create pathways for employment for young people. You may not know, but in South Africa, 50% of kids that enter school never finish. That's about 500,000 kids that end up on the street every year. And of those that finish school, ridiculously few ever find employment. So we literally have millions of young people either unemployable or employable but unemployed because the economy simply cannot afford them. Yeah, and that is me. So it's the work based behind me, and in a community like this that's given rise to that 4-step kind of approach. I'm just turning around. So I live in a community similar to this, because I believe we can't talk restitution and reconciliation if we're not willing to do it and live it. And just a quick glance inside, and then I'll say goodbye. And this is our pottery studio. Say hello.
Hello.
Thanks.